All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Manhattan Community Board 3's Executive Committee meeting for December 2021. I'm Paul Rangel, your newly elected board chair. And I will now go over to Larissa, who will do the roll call before we go to the minutes.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, members for voting. First vote, Paul Rangel.
Present.
And Eric Diaz.
Yes, present.
Tariq Durrell, sorry.
Present.
Krista Shainberg, present. Laura Lugo. Okay.
Just waiting for her to sign on. Yeah.
Herman Hewitt.
Oh, call Laura again. Call Laura again.
Yes,
She
Laura.
loves
Okay, Laura Lugo. There's Laura.
She's
Laura?
muted. Unmute yourself, Laura.
Can you unmute? Laura, can you unmute?
Just we're taking
We're
attendance.
doing roll call.
Sure. Hello.
Hi. Okay, Laura Lugo.
That is I.
Okay. Herman Hewitt.
He's not here.
I hear you. Mei Lee,
Here.
Jackie Wong,
Yeah.
Linda Jones,
Here.
Michelle Coopersmith,
Present.
and Trevor Holland.
Yes, present.
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Larissa. As you see, Larissa will be doing our executive committee meeting minutes for this month, and at full board, it will be Laura Lugo. That is the rotation for right now. That is always subject to change, but for a heads up for minutes purposes, it is Larissa tonight. Now, our next thing on the agenda is on December 6th, Susan and the office sent out the minutes for both October and November. Are there any objections to the minutes or any adjustments we have to make? If not, we will adopt the minutes from both October and November. Hearing none, minutes are adopted. All right, so let's go into the next agenda item. So I'm just going to give you all that up. Unless it's something that's imperative, I'm not going to share the agenda items on the screen. I'll try to keep it to us as a nice Brady Bunch family of squares instead of looking at the agendas. But you should have it in your email and you can pull it up at any point. So I do have it kind of memorized in my head of what it's going to look like for tonight. So it's going to start with my report, and here we go. So first things first, I want to thank the office. I want to thank Susan. I want to thank Ed, Calvin, and Deirdre for assisting me in this transition into the role. I don't want to neglect Alicia as well in her previous role as chair, sharing with me her email accounts and passwords and getting all that set up. So I will let everybody know pretty much by tomorrow what email you should be emailing me on going forward for any board communication, and you'll see that sooner than later. I have started using the CB3 chair at gmail.com recently. I just got access to the nyc.gov email, so you'll see emails from me coming up very, very soon. But like I said, I want to thank the office. Susan's been very, very helpful for me in getting a lot of this stuff done, whether it's emailing elected officials to set up meetings and times, and can you get here by 4:30? Yes, I can. And so far, I don't think I've been there past 4:31. So I think I'm trying to run out of work. Luckily, I'm close enough to get to the office as quickly as I can. So thank you, Susan, for helping me out tremendously already. This morning, I got a chance to go to my first borough board meeting. There was a nice enthusiastic welcome with condolences mixed in. It was kind of funny at the same time. I did enjoy it. It was interesting trying to do it at work and be on a Zoom call at the same time, but I was able to balance it out. My students weren't bothering me too much, so it was okay. So I just wanted to share with you some of the things from borough board that I picked up on. Two of the resolutions that passed were in reference to the open meetings law and what's going to happen in the future. the law was put into the extraordinary session a couple months ago when the new governor came into office about extending our Zoom meetings to January 15th. So there's two resolutions that passed about trying to get even more out of this, to get more Zoom meetings out of this past January 15th. Now, we don't know what's going to happen upstate in Albany with any sessions coming up in January, but the Manhattan community boards and council members passed both resolutions. I personally abstained on behalf of CB3 because we had not taken an official position on paper yet. A lot of the boards did that. It still passed because there were some people who said yes, and all the council members said yes, so that's why it passed. But I didn't want to take an official position, even though I think we all kind of wanted this a little bit. So we'll see where it goes going forward. But I will be very, very careful on how I vote on things and at borough board if we don't take a position on it. So we didn't take a position on that, and I abstained on that vote. The other resolution that was passed was the Exonerated 5 exhibition in Central Park, and all the community boards were part of it. I think we did that joint committee item a couple months back regarding the Exonerated 5. So it finally came to the Manhattan Borough Board, and everybody voted for it to go through. Hopefully it's a very nice exhibition in Central Park. So I think that was really, really good. We had stated our support for it. Every community board stated its support for it. So we're good there. I'm going to apologize right off the bat. I like to be succinct and quick with a lot of these reports. This is not one of those nights. I want to just give you some ideas of where my head is at and going forward over the next couple months, and what I'd like to do in conjunction with the entire executive committee and eventually the entire full board. So specifically, I want to talk about the flow of the executive committee meetings. If you notice on the agenda, I decided to remove the first vice chair and second vice chair reports. They will only be put on if they have something to report on. If Eric were to go to a meeting for something on behalf of the board, I will put that back on. If Tariq needs to talk about attendance or something else that we're thinking about from the second vice chair's report, we will put that back on. And this month, there are no reports from either position. So those will be taken off the executive committee agenda items unless it's absolutely needed. I noticed a lot at executive committee, we would have first vice chair, second vice chair reports, nothing to report. So let's just take it off so we can move to the next item. And I'm trying to be a little bit more efficient with everything, but feel free to chime in and let me know if I'm going a little overboard with stuff, or if you have any ideas or questions, comments, concerns, please do so. All right. Also, in terms of the committee reports going forward on the executive committee, I want us to just be a little bit more focused on hot issues that are going to happen at full board. If you know something big is about to happen, if you knew something big happened at committee and it needs to be shared with us here at executive, please do so. All right. If it's something that was just a small little presentation, there's no need to report on it. If you know it's going to be a big thing coming down the pipe, please talk about it. But I just want us to be more efficient with the reports. We'll know if you pass resolutions. It's in the vote sheet, right? If you pass 2 resolutions, great. I don't need the explanation. I don't think we need the explanation unless it's a huge thing that we know it's going to bombard us on Tuesday. And that's where the preparation comes into. And if there's any specific questions about something that may have happened at committee, I want us to keep it focused and leveled and to move through each item. I don't need these meetings to go 2 to 3 hours, 2.5 hours. Let's keep things as efficient as possible. 6:30 on a Thursday night, we're all kind of tired. So I want to make things a lot more efficient. So that's going to be kind of the flow of exec going forward. The next thing I want to talk about exec, I do intend on bringing January's meeting back to the office face to face. And we can all kumbaya together and hold hands and drink coffee. It would be a lot of fun. But it would most likely be hybrid to give out people opportunities to be on Zoom. I know with the new variant coming around like it's Christmas, it's getting scary out there. So I do want to move this meeting back to being face-to-face, but it will be also offered hybrid. We are going to work on that over the next couple of weeks, especially after the holiday, to make that work. That's the one thing I do want to do. I would like to see the executive committee come back together for these meetings instead of on Zoom. I hold your questions on that. I'll take them at the end, but that's something I kind of want to see happen again. Let me, I already did my email line. Couple things, there are vacancies. I want to thank Anisha Stephen for her work as the Economic Development Chair. She did have to step down from her role as the chair after taking the job in the Biden administration and Department of Treasury. So that's a conflict of interest, and she doesn't know yet what her role will be on the board, if she or not, but she knew she did have to step down as chair. I want to thank Richard Gropiak, who actually facilitated the meeting last week for economic development. He did step in, and it was pretty cool to hear him do it. So I'm thankful to him for doing that. But there's a vacancy there. And that's going to lead into my next vacancy. Got to replace me at transportation. So in January, I've asked David Crane to facilitate the meeting, which he will. He'll be the acting chair for that month, but I do need a long-term solution. So if there's anybody you have in mind that you would like to share with myself and the office that might be a good candidate to be the transportation chair, they don't have to be on the transportation committee right now. They could be on any other committee, unless they have a conflict of interest, if they work for DOT or something like that. I will take any and all recommendations. I want to kind of open it up so we can hear what's going on. And that way we can train that person into becoming the next chair of transportation. But David Crane will do the January meeting, turning back the clock to before I was chair, letting David do that. So I'm very appreciative of him stepping up and doing that. So yeah, those are the two major vacancies. I did fill the vacancy for the NYCHA subcommittee. As more things change, they stay the same. So Alicia Lewis Coleman will be the chair of the NYCHA Section 8 subcommittee. I'm very appreciative of her doing that. A lot of my intent behind that is that she may train some of the other younger members to potentially step up into leadership roles that they may not be ready for right now. So it's more of kind of a transitional thing. And I'm grateful to her leadership as the former board chair and stepping into this role. She did agree to do it. I'm hoping that she can, train some of the other younger members to maybe eventually take over that subcommittee. Going forward, and this is not something I want to do right now, I do want to look at all the committees overall and do a giant snapshot of what are the efficacy of some of the committees, whether it's a subcommittee, a full committee, what changes should we make? Should we keep economic development? Can we fold that into something else? I'm just using that as an example. Should NYCHA Section 8 still be its own subcommittee, or could that be folded into land use and be a land use item going forward on a monthly basis? Those are some of the things I want us to think about. So that way we're not bombarded with meetings that we have to go to, but maybe we can chop it down into one and make things more efficient. If we have to break things off into other types of committees, we can think about that, think about different people stepping up into those leadership roles. So the vacancies and the committees kind of go hand in hand to see, well, where are we going to go from here? Right now, I don't want to make any changes without the approval of the exec, and going forward, and I think we'll be fine in the next couple of months, seeing what kind of changes we'd like to make there. I just wanted to talk also about committees and conflicts of interest a little bit without going into too many specifics, but sometimes there's a blurred line of our private roles and some of the things we do outside of the board. And a lot of people will acknowledge that you may be part of the community board, and they will point out that you're part of the community board, and the board may have taken a position on something you may not necessarily agree with, or your private entity may not necessarily agree with. Please, when that happens, know that you're not acting in the capacity as a board member, you're acting in the capacity as a private citizen, and whatever your organization is doing. Please just keep that in mind, because the board has taken positions on certain things, and I want that to be crystal clear. And if there's any questions about that, I'm more than happy to have any private conversations with anybody afterwards, full board members, executive committee members, committee chairs, anybody, about that. I just want us to be clear as to what our roles are. You know, I work for the door. That's my private role outside of here. I won't use that to influence anything on health or human services or anything of that sort, or the door needs this or like that's a conflict of interest, right? Even though the door is not in this district, but those are some of those types of examples. I want us to be crystal clear on that for everybody. Myself, everyone in the office, everybody, executive committee chairs, just be clear on that, on conflicts of interest. Just a reminder, I know a lot of people have RSVP'd already for the holiday party. I know it's a little bit interesting right now where this variant is kind of taking over the city. I know cases are doubling by the day. If you're not comfortable going, then don't. I'm just going to be very, very clear about that. I know invitations have gone out and stuff like that, but please, no one's forcing anybody to go to this holiday party. I'd love to see people there, granted, but I would love to just see people after that. So, and that's my big thing. Having gone through this myself at the beginning of March 2020, trust me, I'd rather everybody be healthy than sick and in bed and can't get it out of bed. So I want everybody to be good. Whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, boosted up or anything like that, please stay healthy, be vigilant. I'm not saying to not come to the holiday party, but I'm not saying if you don't come, like it'll look bad on you forever. That's not going to be it. All right. I don't have anything else. So I'm sorry I took up a lot of time right there. I'll take any questions if you could raise your Zoom hands or your regular hands. I can see everybody at this point. Go ahead, Tariq.
Paul, thanks for the update. That was great.
Thank you.
I just questions around, I think, kind of the committee snapshot review. Is there a way to create some sort of survey or feedback form from community members to hear kind of how they're feeling about committees and the effectiveness of the committee, how it's been working, especially from people that regularly attend some of those meetings? I think to hear their feedback will help this exec make a better decision as to how to guide you and advise you on what committees to take out or change or things like that.
Sure, that's a good question. I think a lot of it right now is going to be concentrated with me kind of going on this listening tour in January, where I'm going to try to go to as many committees as I possibly can. I'm going to reach out to people. A lot of this is going to be kind of me figuring things out and then shifting over in terms of surveys and things like that. I think that may be a next step going forward. I think a lot of what I'm thinking about is informal before it becomes formalized. So I know you and I, we kind of discussed this already a little bit. I don't have a specific survey form or Google form, as I've kind of gotten used to, that I would like to do, but I just want to hear concerns or good things, bad things going forward. And in terms of like the folding of committees or shifting them around or shifting people around, I think a lot of people just will straight up tell me if that's something they want to do, or they'll tell their committee chair, maybe, I don't want to be on this specific committee anymore because I want to do this, and maybe we do that. So I think that's where I'm going. I don't have a great answer for that right now, Tariq. I think a lot of it is just informal and what's in my head and how I eventually execute it with everybody.
May I join you on the listening tour?
Sure.
Great.
I thought my ears were big enough, but sure enough, I'll take more. I'll take more the merrier, but absolutely. Thank you.
Great.
I'll take any other questions. Thanks, Tariq. No other questions, comments, concerns, jokes, poems? Oh, so I neglected to say this and I apologize. I am looking to be a little bit more active on the social media circuit for us as a board. Facebook and Twitter, I know we have that. We'll think about Instagram at some point. I'm not going to commit to any of that stuff just yet. But I do need to put a social media manager in place. I do have somebody in mind. I'm not going to say it. Until I get a lot of more of that stuff ironed out, we will have a stronger presence on social media probably after the new year. So I just wanted to say that.
Paul,
Any other?
could you explain the policy around the social? I did offer to do it and to run social media, but I think there is a policy for exec members not being able to serve as the social media manager if they're voting on exec.
So I'm going to do a double check on the policy again, just to see if that's clear or not clear. Susan, can you answer that question for me really quickly? If an exec member cannot be the social media manager? I don't know if there was anything specific.
We haven't had a social media manager. Since I don't know when, and I don't know what that person does.
So I think a lot of this is going to be determined whether you sit on exec or not. I think.
But what does the person do?
They're going to manage all the posts and of what we're going to post. And I haven't thought it completely through yet. It's on my list. The to-do list it's not on the big priorities just yet. But I do want to have a stronger social media presence, a post, whether it's a specific item that we know it's coming down. Like, let's say I'm going to use my former committee, transportation example. I'm going to talk about the rat stuff in NYCHA. That's going to be on for the sanitation portion for transportation in January. And through social media, you can actually talk about that item, say that this is coming up, please show up. This is the Zoom link, X, Y, and Z. So I think that's going to be kind of the stuff that we post so it can get out there a little bit more for people to talk about, to be on the meeting and ask questions so they're prepared for that. Go ahead, Tariq, I see your hand.
I know Laura and I have spoke about this, that we're both interested in kind of social media and supporting the presence. And so I'm putting both of our names in. Laura, shake your head or not, we're doing it. No, but I put my name in the hat if we need to. I'm happy to go into the year focused on social media.
Right.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a stronger social media presence. And Tariq, I know we talked about it already a little bit, and I think that's something we will be working on together after the new year. And Laura's already did it, so it's you see that look. I know that look already. Trevor, go ahead.
I don't know if you can see my hand, it blends in with my background, but just keep note that we went down this path several times before, many times. So there is some language around posting and what can be done. And the first time we tried this, the person who had the social media had the password and locked us out. So there is still a CB3 handle that's out there that some people tag that is not the quote unquote official
Actual
one. So
I
think it's imperative of us to look back at those notes and our policies to see what we can.
Yes,
It's on the website. Yeah.
Yes,
It's on the website, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is on the website. Go ahead, Susan. See you.
Yeah, if I can kind of update everyone. So one thing that we did for a long time that worked very well was at the exec committee chairs, when it was time for their report, would say whether they had an item such as a town hall or the wrap thing that they would like posted on social media. The person in charge of Facebook right now is Thomas Rosa. He's doing that. And I guess Paul's doing the Twitter, right? Or is it the other way around? So that you've been doing that. We do have very specific guidelines as part of our policies on the website. I suspect they were written by the person who brought up all the social media. I expect they could probably be condensed, but they are based on what New York City government requires. So I'm going to remind everyone again that we, we're a city agency and we have to abide by their social media guidelines, which is also on the website. The process for posting everything is that it must go through me and the board chair. And we have to turn it around within 24 hours. I think it's always done like within an hour. But I think, people look at their agendas in addition to whatever else you do, but if people look at their agendas at exec, it's a really good time to touch on whether there's something that should be on social media.
Absolutely. So that's, like I said, we're gonna have a stronger presence on social media, and since the final approval goes through myself and through the district manager on what's posted, I think it would be a little bit easier to have that stronger presence. I don't know if we'll have a TikTok, but we'll see what happens. All right. Okay, that is it from my report. If there's any other questions, feel free to let me know. If not, that is it from my report for tonight. Thank you for bearing with me for the last 20 minutes of pontificating. So I will move to the district manager's report. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. And just to address what Trevor brought up about what happened in the past in social media, shame on us if we don't learn from it. So we now have all that information, all the passwords and everything in the office. The thing we have to be careful about is that Facebook actually has to turn over the person who's managing it has to actually turn it over to the next one. We did do that successfully when Thomas took it on not too long ago. I just want to remind everyone as far as the Zoom link for both exec and for full board, you should not be using the one on the website in the agenda. You should be getting one in your email 1 week and 1 day and 1 hour before the meeting. If you're not getting it, please let me know. But that will allow you to enter as a panelist and not an attendee so that you can speak and do everything. I contacted Village Sun, which is relatively new news, local media that replaced the old Villager, and asked them to start publishing our agendas. So this month, they started publishing for both CB2 and CB3. So that'll be a little bit of a help. The office is going to close the next 2 Thursdays. Fridays are both holidays. So we're going to close the offices and take a vacation day on the Thursdays. The agenda will be posted for January, will be posted December 29th. But we need to finalize it now. There's, I think, 1 or 2 committee chairs who still haven't responded if they want any additional items on the agenda. And it's very late to do that. And I'm going to tell you, next week, it's going to be like, if you want somebody to come speak at the committee, it's going to be impossible to try and to contact anyone next week. The city is going to pretty much close down. Open restaurant has again changed all their regulations and not told anyone. I will go into more detail at the full board. There's no sense in you hearing it twice, but you won't be happy. There will not be an arts and culture meeting next month. Our committee chair just was today tested positive for COVID and is not feeling well. So we're going to postpone that. I want to remind committee chairs, please look at the vote sheet, make sure it's okay. Please check your draft agenda and let me know immediately if there anything needs to be adjusted. And just a reminder on open meeting. So for emails, particularly for the newer members on the committee, we have to, as city government, abide by the state open meeting laws. That's why when I send the emails, I put everybody in BCC, so there can't be any reply all, there can't be any conversation. A back and forth of a quorum of a committee is a meeting, is considered a meeting, and the public is not there, so therefore it's against open meeting law. Please let me know if there's any questions on any of this. And please always, contact the office for anything we can help with. And that's it. Thank you.
Michelle has her hand up, Susan. Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay.
Thanks. Susan, do you know anything about the open restaurants thing tomorrow morning? Like I see on the DOT website that it's supposed to be Friday, December 17th at 9:30 a.m., but there's no like link or
I
information.
can tell you everything about that. So this is like the biggest screw up you ever heard of. DOT is having very robust community input. And part of that community input that they listed on the website prior to a few days ago was that they were going to go to every borough board meeting in each borough and present. Of course, the public wouldn't be able to ask any questions. And I looked at the schedule and I said, December 17th isn't the borough board, it's borough service. And borough service is a closed meeting that the public can attend. So they have changed the wording on the website now. It's very strange. It is not open to the public.
It says member in January.
You can come, Michelle.
Okay.
You're a board member, you're a committee chair. I will send you, I'll try and do it while we're still in the meeting. I will send you the link. You have to pre-register.
Okay, thank you.
It's unreal, just unreal.
Yeah, because I had it in my calendar because I had looked at it as like the engagement and I thought it was like a thing that you could go as a member of the public, but
well,
now they're changing it
Alliance
to January, it seems like, right?
Well, they just changed that. So the Hospitality, I learned about it because Hospitality Alliance was telling everyone to go to this meeting. And I said, hey, that's our meeting and it's a closed meeting. And I called the borough president's office. They didn't realize.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you don't mind sending it to me, I'll sign
I'm
it.
going to do that right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, Susan, I don't think they even sent it to me for tomorrow.
Pardon?
I don't think they even sent it to me yet for tomorrow.
Did they talk about it in borough board today?
They alluded to it.
I will send it to both of you. It's just no comment.
It's 3 hours of fun. Okay, so, all right, let's move on to the committee chair reports. Is there any other questions for Susan? I'm sorry. Susan, you're done, right? Just making
Yes,
sure.
thank you.
Okay. All right, let's move on to committee chair reports. We'll start with my second favorite committee after transportation, SLA. Go ahead, Michelle.
Thank you, Paul. We considered 7 applications this month. I expect one of them to not sign the stipulations, but I think the other 6 will sign. No big red flags for the full board. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Trevor and Parks.
Nothing happening, nothing to report. I'm just kidding. There's a lot happening. A lot to report. So I'm going to try and keep this brief listening to Paul. I'm going to try and sum up this. So we were supposed to have, well, the team from ESCR was supposed to come and give a full report on the construction, timing and park closures. Then there was a TRO invoked, so they did not give a full update. They mostly talked about the implementation of new bike lanes and new bike routes. That evening or the next morning, the city decided that the TRO was not in effect for construction, so they continued construction. We asked for EDC to come to full board to explain what was going on. However, as of today, the case was dropped, so there's no TRO, there's no action, the case doesn't exist, so we expect for them to come to January's meeting and finally give a report on construction and timing. I don't know how full board is going to be. If anyone follows social media, there's a lot of stuff going around. And there's also a rally tomorrow with NYCHA residents in support of the CR plan. I don't have the details on that because it's not a CB3 meeting. I'm just going as Trevor Holland with no hat for this particular rally. There's a lot more to that, but I think that's a very brief summary.
No, I understand, Trevor. Thank you. Thank you so much on what you do for that committee and having to deal with that particular topic. Next committee is my favorite committee, transportation. And guess what? There was no meeting this month. So we're going to move on to the next economic development, which also doesn't have a chair anymore. I believe they had a presentation about the Chinatown Grant. Is that correct, Susan? If I'm correct. You're on mute. You're on mute, Susan.
I'm sorry. You'd think I'd know by now. Yes, it was a presentation. It was, a good thing. We're getting lots of money.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so next after that, I want to once again thank Richard Ropiak for facilitating the economic development meeting last week. Next is May Human Services. Go ahead.
Well, it's quite an exciting time at Human Services. And we have no resos next month for the board to vote on. I just want to make a small update about, I think at the last meeting, we talked about the 91 East Broadway Safe Haven, and I said there was a partnership between Care for the Homeless and AFI. So AFI is not involved anymore, but we think that Care for the Homeless still is. So that's all I have for that. Just to update you on the service provider or the folks involved. But Care for the Homeless is the main provider, so that's still the same.
Right.
But you never know. That's all. Okay, that's.
Jackie, did you have any specific questions? I see your hand up.
No questions on that. I just want to add that the Chinatown community held 2 rallies to oppose the plan at 91 East Broadway, and also our council member Margaret Chin. She also, when she was explaining to the local concerns, she sent a letter to De Blasio to oppose the plan, and also council member Christopher Matei also issued a statement that he would stay with the community. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Jackie might as well stay on because land use is up. Go ahead.
Thank you. So we met and we don't have any reso. We are all working on creating a sustainability and resilience questionnaire for future developments. And the urban fellow who was on this project came to present, and some committee members wants to be more involved in this project, and we will figure out a process for the committee members to be involved. And also in the meeting, they expressed interest that maybe in the future we can expand the questionnaire to include other priorities of development projects such as affordability or community giveaway, those kind of things. But it's not in this particular project, maybe just for the future. Do you want me to report NYCHA as well, or NYCHA?
I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to go through the rest of the main committees and then we'll go back to NYCHA. Trevor and then Susan, go ahead.
So Jackie, do you know? Oh, I'm sorry. This is on Jackie's report. Oh, I'm sorry, Trevor. You're asking.
Yeah,
No,
Trevor has his hand up.
Mine is real quick. I'm going back just a little bit. Susan, I don't that we only have one thing on for parks, but as you know, Steve has an interesting way of letting us know stuff goes on. So if you want to contact him.
He cannot do it last minute. He just can't.
No, I'm just saying the only agencies that need to be contacted would be Parks or EDC, and there's no liaison for EDC, so no one's contacted me because Will's no longer there.
We have somebody that we've been contacting for EDC. She may be temporary, but we do have someone. But if you have something you want on,
I don't know.
Okay.
No. I'm just saying those are the 2 agencies that would normally say they want.
Yeah. So all we need to contact is confirmed DDC.
Correct.
Okay. What I wanted to just ask Jackie,
Yes.
as far as the other non-resiliency things, you know, there is a housing questionnaire for developers. It's on our website that your committee created. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And-
So it's very interesting because when we were at the meeting, we sort of had a conflicting information on that. Some members remember that and some don't. And I went to the website during the meeting. I couldn't find that questionnaire. I thought I had seen that before, but since I couldn't find it from the website, so we didn't like say we have or have not at the meeting. We just didn't confirm the information. I figured that I want to talk to you later. But since we are not talking about for this particular project, we are talking about the future. So we can
But
have some conversation offline.
I should still find, I mean, it should be on the website.
I wasn't able to find it. So.
So that's good for me to know. You know, we just transitioned websites.
Okay.
So that's good for me to know. And I just wrote down that we have to look for it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Susan. Last thing I have is landmarks, but you know, didn't meet, right, Linda?
We did not meet.
Okay. Okay, so let me just backtrack for a quick second. Okay, Jackie, if you want to just update us on night.
Oh, okay. So for the NYCHA subcommittee meetings, we discussed the NYCHA blueprint legislation, and tenant leaders expressed their concerns about privatization, governance, or insufficient outreach. And we were told by the elected officers that we are not expected to, the legislation is not expected to return in near future until further conversation is conducted with the tenants, and like Paul announced early, Alicia is appointed as the new chair of the subcommittee.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, Jackie. Well, Arts and Culture is not here. I know they had their town hall at the beginning of the month. I don't want to. Tariq, can you just update us a little bit on how that town hall went, if you don't mind?
Sure. Yeah, we met last month. Council members Carlina Rivera, Margaret Trin showed up and spoke a little bit just about the importance of arts and culture in our community and kind of what they've done thus far to support arts and culture organizations and institutions in the community. We had presentations from Ryan from FAB and Ellie Dorfkin from the Center for Urban Future. And all of the topics, pretty much, we're talking about public art, pandemic response, cultural equity, CHADAS, of course, and our arts and education. All of this was just to inform the committee of our work moving forward into the new year and how we were going to outreach and communicate and start collaborating on some of these issues. So I know we're now canceling the January meeting, so I'm sure we'll probably resume in March.
Thank you, Tariq. I appreciate that. Thanks for reporting on that. I was one of the first things I got to go to as chair was that town hall. It was very informative. If you know anything about me, I can't draw a stick figure. So anything arts and culture related, it's definitely more informative for me than probably most people. So it was definitely cool to listen to, and hopefully it'll help the subcommittee going forward. Okay. That being said, that's it for the committee reports and subcommittee reports. Is there any old business?
Yes. Is the,
go ahead, Trevor.
I don't have the agenda memorized, but is the Chinatown subcommittee still on our agenda?
That committee, right? There's the Chinatown's a planning committee. What was it called?
Is it still on the agenda?
It's not on the agenda. No.
Okay. We still have a committee. We still have a committee which hasn't met in
Few years.
Years.
Trevor, you are.
Well, it looks like I got some
media,
stuff
right?
to look at. So,
No, I
yeah,
just,
it's not on the agenda.
I'm not saying everyone's been afraid to kind of touch it, and I'm not suggesting that. I'm just that we have that committee which hasn't met. In fact, we met twice maybe back when Gigi was chair, and it's remained there for quite some time.
It's, yeah, it was officially inactive.
This is good information.
It's a committee that I'm part of that I
It's
I
not
think so.
active.
Is anyone else a part of that except for me? No. Oh,
May's
part of it.
raising her hand. Linda's raising.
Linda's. But I think I'm just saying maybe we need to take a look at it. That's all.
Appreciate that, Trevor. Thank you. All right.
We had to have a
Any-
talk about who wanted that committee to happen in the first place, because it was kind of a political thing, as I recall. Your city
Still-
planning and Margaret
Well,
Chin and borough president.
Well, I'm sure we'll
We can
take a look at
discuss
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
can
I
saying
discuss that.
think
in
they
some-
all lost
yeah.
interest.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Linda. Any other old business? Sorry for the helicopters in the back. Any new business? Just a reminder of the holiday party you may not want to go to on Wednesday. That is this Wednesday at Lucky Jack's. I know Larissa sent out an email about the staff gifts. If you can, please submit whatever you can for them and the work they've done for us this year, especially during the majority of the pandemic and trying to come back face to face and back and forth. A lot of these little weird quirks going on. Go ahead, Larissa, if you want to comment. Go ahead.
If I can remind you, so it doesn't sound like I'm sitting there listening to gifts about me, it's for the support staff.
Go ahead, Larissa. I see your hand up.
Yes, so the deadline was today for the staff gifts. So Paul, would it be okay? I need to arrange with you tomorrow to meet to give you the gift cards. So that you
Sure.
can give them to the staff. So we'll do that after the meeting.
Yeah, you can reach out to me afterwards. Sure. Trevor and then Michelle.
I'm sorry, you said the deadline was today? Or is today? All right. Can you, I'll find the email.
Oh, do you want to, you can, I mean, go ahead and send something
just
today.
completely
I haven't
forgot.
got the gift cards yet. I'm going to pick them up tomorrow.
Okay.
So I think the deadline's still going on. So if you wanted to send something now, I think
We'll
you
have a
could.
grace period.
Yes. Michelle, go ahead.
Can I suggest that you send out a reminder today? 'Cause
Okay,
What, sorry?
I can send out a little
Okay,
reminder.
yeah, I think I sent out
You
a
haven't
couple of
contributed.
reminders to people,
Yeah,
because no one ever remembers anything, so.
And Larissa, can I also suggest that you actually say, you mentioned the board, but you didn't say which board. And you should not assume that people might just skip over it because some people aren't a lot of boards. So they don't, I'm serious. I looked at it and I just
Good
like, oh,
point.
you know, I was like, which board? And then I was like, well, Larissa, CB3, you know, and I'm on the executive committee. So,
Okay.
so it's just because it's short, you know, it's CB3 should be in the title. Because it's just
Okay.
something like staff gifts and I mean,
Okay.
people are involved in all kinds of staff gifts.
Yeah. So Larissa, if you just send a reminder out, that'd be great. And put a CB3 in there. Great. Susan, go ahead.
Should you, is everybody aware that for the party, because it's in a bar, that they must show vaccination and must show their ID?
Larissa, when you send out your email, do reminders for both and put the vaccination. then,
reminder
yeah,
of
bring your
vaccination.
ID in that email.
Vaccination proof
So
required.
if you could do that after the meeting, it'd be great.
Sure.
Is that also the
Sue-
case for the exec meeting?
Pardon?
Is that also the case for the exec meeting?
No. Why, are you trying to get out of it?
No, I'm asking a question because there's so many rules and stuff going on. Any more than 5 people, 6 people, mask, vaccination, booster. So I haven't met in public in a group in quite some time. So I'm just trying to, you know.
Oh, you're trying to see whether, you know, there is no regulation. So city employees for their offices must be vaccinated. No one has ever said to me that board members must be vaccinated, so I'm not going to ask.
No, I know. It's just every meeting I've gone to, I've had to show vaccination and I had to take or show a test within a few hours, but those were other meetings. So I was just asking if there were any requirements for this.
I'm actually not allowed to request it, like in the office. The staff has to show, the 3 support staff have to show the Manhattan Borough President's Office, Human Resources, their vaccination. So I can't do that, and I'm happy about it, to be honest. So who's going to check it?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Susan, I'm not asking, I'm just asking what the policy is because I haven't been to an in-person meeting that didn't require anything in quite some time. This is different because it's a CB3 meeting.
Right.
But I was just asking if there was any policy. And if
I
there's
think your
not, there's not.
questions
I just wanted-
are very good questions. And the reason I'm answering this way is because I don't have a good answer for you.
There we go. All right. Okay, I'll say anything else new business wise. Okay, so we'll take a final roll call and then we'll go with a motion to adjourn. So go ahead, Larissa, with our final roll call.
Okay, final roll call. Paul Rango,
Yes.
Eric Diaz. Eric, you still with us?
Is there?
I think he was trying to
Eric, you're
unmute
muted,
himself.
but yeah, I think
He's connected. He just
Yeah.
muted.
all right, Tariq Durrell,
Yes.
Louis Chamber, guest. Laura Lugo,
Yes.
okay, Herman Hewitt. Mei Lee,
Yes.
Jackie Wong,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith,
Yes.
Trevor Holland.
Yes.
That is it.
All right. Thank you, everyone. It is 7:25.
Well done.
I like it. All right. I will see everybody at full board on Tuesday night. Have a great one. We are adjourned.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.